The bar on Station 9 drifted like a rusted tin can in the black quiet of the Vexor drift. It wasn't glamorous. It wasn't even clean. But it was neutral ground, a rule carved into the metal bones of the station by blood and time. No blasters, no violence, no slavery deals in the open. That rule had been broken tonight. Zahn, the bartender, polished a cracked glass behind the counter, his arms thick as pressure pistons. He wasn't young anymore, his beard more silver than black, but his eyes missed nothing. Not the shiver of a drug deal in the corner booth. Not the low growl of tension between rival smugglers. Not the quiet entrance of 3 galactic slavers through the bar's airlock. They wore black polymer armor laced with shock netting and red insignias shaped like claws, the mark of the Garen Syndicate, infamous across the Helix Reach for abducting species by the thousands. They didn't come for drinks. They came for a message. The tallest one. A hulking Garrick with cybernetic eyes strutted to the bar, ignoring the silence that fell like dust around them. He stared at Zahn with disdain, then raised one gloved hand and slapped him across the face. The sound cracked through the bar like a dropped stun grenade. Gasps. Chairs scraped. Someone ducked behind a booth. Zahn didn't move. Blood trickled from his lip. His jaw flexed. The slaver laughed, his voice like broken gravel. Thought we'd remind you, human, the Garrick snarled. Your kind serves. Not speaks. And certainly not owns bars. Zahn slowly set down the glass he was cleaning. His voice, when it came, was calm. You shouldn't have done that. The slaver leaned in. What? Hit a pet monkey in front of its cage mates? You gonna cry now, bartender? Zahn looked up, and in that moment, something shifted. The air seemed to tighten. In a blur, Zahn moved. One arm whipped around the counter, grabbing the slaver by the throat. The other shot forward like a piston and slammed into the Garrick's skull. Crack. The Garrick's armored head snapped sideways with a grotesque crunch. Blood and cybernetic oil spattered the bar. The slaver collapsed like a ragdoll, his skull split in two. Silence returned. Not the stunned kind, the primal kind. The kind that creeps in after death walks through the door. The other 2 slavers reached for weapons, but they hesitated. Zahn was already over the counter. He didn't run. He didn't shout. He stalked. The second slaver fired a plasma shot. Zahn dodged, grabbed a barstool mid-step, and hurled it. It smashed the weapon aside and collided with the shooter's neck. Bones snapped. The third tried to flee. Zahn was faster. He grabbed the alien by the back of the head and slammed it into the bar's edge with the weight of vengeance decades deep. The skull didn't just crack, it folded. 3 bodies hit the floor. None would rise. Zahn stood in the quiet aftermath, chest rising and falling. The bar stared. He reached under the counter, pulled out a rag, and wiped blood off the surface. Behind him, someone, a Treg merchant, finally found his voice. If they were Garen, you just murdered. They struck first, Zahn said. And this bar doesn't tolerate slavers, or anyone who forgets the rules. No one disagreed, not out loud. Zahn looked around, eyes scanning the room. If anyone objects, they're free to speak. Silence. A Loxery bounty hunter raised her glass in a silent toast. A few followed. Slowly, nervously, but they followed. Zahn turned back to his work. Good. Now finish your drinks, or I'll charge extra for watching the show. The music resumed. Quietly. Life returned to the bar. Conversations resumed, though lower and with glances toward the bloodied floor. And Zahn? He just cleaned the counter. Like always, but in the far corners of the galaxy, whispers had already begun. About the human bartender on Station 9 who crushed a slaver's skull like it was made of glass.